morning, everyone, and welcome to American Scouser's Morning Coffee or Tea with American Scouser on a Friday morning where we are as reckless as can be. So reckless that Onan is not here because obviously he's still traveling. I think he's on his way back, so heads up if you're in the airports. And Kazi is out of action, but Serzi steps up to the plate. What's happening?
How you doing? I feel like Chiesa.
Chiesa, it is. Well,
Getting,
I don't know when
getting
the
some
hell
last
we'll
like
see Chiesa.
5 minutes so I can get my little medal at the end.
Yeah, I saw a lot about that too, like how many games he has to get. I feel like it's like a really stupid rule. I guess I understand why they don't just like, give the clubs. I mean, they give some extra or whatever, right, to pass out.
Yeah.
Because I remember it was a huge ordeal with the young kids a couple of seasons ago, right? That championship season, that was the year. Yeah, I saw that story and I was like, what the hell over there? Well, we're heading into a weekend where we're kind of out of action. So we can kind of, and honestly, like I was just telling you before we went on air, I'm looking over here. This is looking like a non-soccer weekend for me. Fenerbahce plays on Sunday, but looks like it will be a non-soccer weekends looking ahead here. Or are there any FA Cup matchups you're like, I gotta watch this?
No, it's a nice little break before the calm before the storm. So come Champions League, and then Southampton, and then we go again. So yeah, it's a nice little break. Ramadan starts tomorrow. Got a couple of days to.
Oh, that's right.
Get everything together, and that's it. Yep, I'm happy. This weekend's good.
Honestly, Sunday are the games that are like, at these Premier League matchups in Newcastle, Brighton, Manchester United, Fulham. So those Sunday games are not too shabby, but I'm not getting up at 7:45 in the morning to watch Newcastle, Brighton over here. I'm sure you're not getting up at 6 in the morning over there. So not a lot happening in that. As a Manchester United, Fulham, I think it coincides with the Fenerbahce game, so that's SOL as well. But honestly, the good thing about this is it has come after a very decisive week, because I can only imagine you and Aaron and all these like worrying people if we went into this, let's say, if this weekend was after the Aston Villa game, people would be losing their minds. I think the fact that this is coming in like after like this latest run and along with coinciding with Arsenal's run, really within 2 games, we've extended the lead like 5 points there over the last 2 days. So how do you think Arsenal looks at this? Because obviously they have a Champions League match coming up. It's a lot easier matchup. They're playing against PSV. They're worried because they're looking so bad that even that is a concern. And PSV is not a bad team. I mean, obviously they beat us. I know we were backups and stuff like that, but we've seen them play the way Arsenal defends. You can see them parking the bus and then, attacking with Bakayoko and stuff like that. But I guess my question to you is, do you think Arsenal uses this time off to say, man, we really got to focus on the Champions League. This other thing is over. I know he keeps saying over his dead body and stuff like that, but I think they just kill him and say, let's focus on the Champions League over here.
I don't know. They're in a catch-22, aren't they? Because they're closer to being 10th than winning the league. And then this is the only thing that they have left to win. So it just depends how much of head loss Arteta's going to allow it to affect his season. Because even though the Champions League might be the only thing that they're left to win it, realistically, they're not going to win it. They have too many better teams in front of them that can stop them from winning it. And especially without a striker and so forth that we keep hearing about. And again, and there's a big risk that they can actually fall out of the top 5 if everything goes everyone else's way. So
really? Hold on, I gotta pull that up because I was just trying to see, because they have the Madrid boys after this, right? Like if they go past,
if they go through, yeah.
Yes, they would go against Atletico Madrid or Real Madrid. That's kind of a tricky matchup. I mean, even if you have all your guys, I mean, it would be like a tough matchup. So, yeah, I hear you there. Hold on, let's look at the Premier League standings over there. I mean, I don't think.
Look, in fact, before the next game, we could actually go 14 points clear of them. So, I mean, the league is done and dusted for them.
Yeah, I think so too. And I would think they will look at it more pragmatic and say, hey, especially because the Champions League games are coming back to back, right?
Yeah,
So you would think in between, let me pull up Arsenal's schedule over here as well. I mean, these last couple of days has been basically fighting the good fights against Arsenal fans who are just like living in an imaginary world of, like I understand, and we've been there, right? With like injuries and stuff like that, all in the same area, did not take, corrective action and maybe address it when we should have, and kind of like, when it was the center backs for us. But
yeah,
like, they create this illusion, like a couple of things over here. Let's talk about that and then we'll look at their schedule, I guess. But I mean, that's basically, I think this is when they started, like, this is week
having it.
13 over here when they were really
Yeah,
behind. And honestly, and this is when Saka actually got injured. So they were already behind and they were already struggling. They were still like the set piece FC and stuff like that. So this whole illusion that is, people are working really hard at it too, like really, really hard at people putting in a shift, man, trying to say, come up with like random stats and stuff like that, saying like, oh, we score less goals and stuff. I mean, the goals they're looking at are still mostly set piece goals early on in the season. And I think maybe the illusion is created. I was going to ask you that because of last season where they were scoring at will. So that's what everybody remembers. But
yeah,
the early part of the season had nothing to do with last season. They were still struggling to get goals early part of the season.
yeah. And I think it's just Arteta just outthinking himself. I mean, we saw last season, and they went on a goal scoring run. It reminded me of Brendan Rodgers, where that season we almost won the league, and we were scoring goals for fun, and then it was Suarez left, and we replaced him with just mediocre players. But I think somewhere along the line, Arteta thought they could do it again. All they need to do is shore up that defense. And like this season, he started off like they weren't playing how they ended last season. It was like he wanted more control where they weren't. He would rather draw games and lose games, and then score if they can. And if you even when they beat us, the two goals came from set pieces.
Yeah.
So well, once that ends, like where do you go? I mean, it's so bad that they put the set piece coach on a mural, like going towards the stadium. I mean, it's just so cringe Arsenal. Like that's what they're doing, and the stupid things. And again, like I said, they've got all these spin doctors and narratives. Oh, well, it's because of this. They've even got former Liverpool players like joining into the Liverpool lost Van Dijk and Salah, and yeah, but we haven't. And
Yeah.
what does that mean? Like it's just dumb. It's ifs and buts. So again, it feels like a political agenda narrative
Yeah, I
based
mean,
team. Like, well, why
I
they
think
lost? And
it was Rich saying it on Discord. Like when we had those injuries, nobody came to us and said, "You guys are
exactly,
the real title winners." But you guys had all these injuries and stuff. I don't remember any of that. I remember people were saying like "next man up," and that's why you got to have squad that sucks to be you guys and
yeah,
stuff like that. And we had to move on. Nobody came to us and said, "Well, you guys had a lot of injuries. You guys are the real winners and stuff," as they should not have. I don't know why Arsenal is waiting on that and slightly getting that. It's just like the like I said, the narrative is unreal. Like that's good PR. I don't know if Arteta is out there and has like a huge PR department
and they
writing this or
well
what.
they did the same when we won the league and Man City lost Ruben Diaz. And it
Yeah,
was it Ruben Diaz or one of and it's like, well, if Liverpool lost Van Dijk, then they'll be in the same, And it's just like, no, that's not our problem.
yeah,
That's what the game's about. If you lose a player, and Man City had a free will to sign anyone they wanted, it's not a problem. It's just stupid. Then obviously, then Van Dijk gets injured next season, and no one spoke about it. And then every
yeah,
player that went into the centre back, including Fabinho and Henderson, they'll started getting injured, and no one cared. But Liverpool, we just put ourselves together to the fact where Alisson scores a goal. That's just Liverpool, and like we got ourselves into the Champions League. it's a media. It's just growing up in
Is that
England.
like a
I've seen it.
London bias
Everyone hates it.
thing, or like I
Yeah.
say, is it just like better PR, or just people falling into? I find this like, especially in the media, when you have ex players, there are certain clubs where their ex players are sticking with the narrative that helps the club, regardless whether it's true or not, right?
Mm.
And there are some clubs where, and I feel like we're kind of like in the middle, I guess, but you have some media that is like that, maybe like you can call them like overly positive or whatever. And there's some media that, is almost like waiting for something to go wrong. So I don't know if they get more exposure, they go back to that club's players more. I mean, United players must be feasting over here because they keep going back. Like, why does shit suck? Yeah. But I don't know what it is. Like certain clubs, their ex players, when they're pundits and stuff like that, they're scattered through the media. I mean, that's how it usually works, right? Like there are all these
Yeah.
players in the media, and it feels like Arsenal narrative is really being pushed, even though it's false.
Yeah, but it's only by the London players and former Liverpool players for some reason. Like people like Stephen Warner, who I just don't get it. That's why I like players like pundits like Daniel Sturridge and even Michael Owen's okay. But it's like we get more props from former players like Gary Lineker, Alan Shearer, Mike Richards, like who are on a Liverpool bandwagon. It's like it's not our problem. Arsenal. I think before, like when I was growing up in London, it was like such a pro Manchester United bias that they can do no wrong. And now I'm looking at it, I think it's just anti-Liverpool. It's got nothing to do with anything else. It's just anti-Liverpool bias. And it's like, all right, well, whatever suits your narrative. And it's not our fault. It's not, we didn't spend any money. Everyone else did. And we're top of the league. And I don't think people can get that around their head. It's like, wait, they spent 12 million on a player that doesn't play. This is the same group of players that faltered away this time last year, but now we're almost like 5 points and like 5 games ahead of everyone else. To managers just come in,
Yeah.
learning on the job. We've lost one game, that one game that still haunts him to this day, and he's just shown how easy it is. It was just a seamless transition, and even he said himself, we're probably going to rebuild this team in the summer. And I don't, and people just, it's just, but that's the society, isn't it? They'd rather try and find ways to bring you down than try to emulate your success.
Yeah, I mean, I think like, they did a similar thing with Arsenal, though, to be fair, right? They kind of like, really, really pumped them up, and they said, this is the year,
Yeah.
and they're going to go for the title race and stuff like that. And that's what media does normally. Like they kind of try to build you up so they can kind of like tear you down, and they spend some time tearing you down, and it's basically they gotta work on something. So it's basically like different narratives that get pushed and then scattered around. I think, for example, the biggest thing has been like around this club, our fan base included, and this is why I always got like pissed off. And when our fan base brought out the contract talk, because that was a narrative that was almost being pushed to be like a stumbling block along the way for Liverpool, and everybody feeding into it and saying it over and over and over again is what was getting to me, because that was something that I always expected Arsenal fans, like that was a narrative that I expected like Arsenal, City fans and stuff to push, because that was really the only thing that you could make like the team stumble over and stuff like that, maybe like break them up through the middle. And it has not happened. And I notice now the media has given up on it. Like literally they were like, okay, this is not working. And they gave up on it. And somehow some of our fans still have not, though. Like I watched the other day, like the Anfield Intex guys fucking screaming and yelling about, why are they not finishing Mo and stuff. I just don't understand. I mean, that's the thing that gets me about media. And I honestly, it's worse in terms of like when you come to like YouTube and like channels and stuff like that, like ours. Some of these channels, like trying to make a video that's going to get clicks and comments and stuff.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, I hope to God they're not that dumb, that they know actually what's going on. But it's a lot easier, a lot more profitable to act dumb and make a video saying like, why are they not finishing Mo? I mean, can people really be this stupid and not realize that, hey, if there's only two of them are agreed to it, There's no way they're gonna just extend 2 of them. I just don't. There's no way. No, but I'm not this smart, Cersei. So I'm not smart, but I'm not this smart. I can't be the only guy who can see that there's no way they're gonna announce the 2 of them and throw the third one under the bus. I know these channels and all this media like channels are seeing it. It's just easier and more profitable to just totally ignore it and make it a talking point.
Yeah, and it's like just extending that cash cow, isn't it? Just let's just give them more clickbait, and
Yep.
And that's what it is, and that's the way YouTube is, isn't it? You know, I was watching this podcast last night, and it's like a movie podcast. This guy was saying that clickbait it's just gone so bad that the headlines are longer than the actual story itself, and you click on it, and that's it. Ching, it's just made you some money, and it's because even if the contracts were announced and we signed these players, all 3 of them signed. The next thing will be, well, FSG, we haven't bought any players. We didn't buy players in January. And it's going to be, we have all players. And it's always going through something. And, you know, and that's how AFT makes so much money. They make more money with Arsenal losing their heads. And they get more people subscribing and watching their channel because even non-Arsenal fans, we were talking about it in last night's show, people are paying Arsenal fans TV just to sit headless. And
I mean, I watched.
That's why. Yeah, and that's why I tried to put them in a room 433 and see the toxic fans, but I got voted out. But it's like, how can you be a supporter and subconsciously, or wanting you to lose, your team to lose, just so you can make more money to see your team lose?
Yeah,
I can't. I can't fathom. So, but yeah, and I guess that's the age that we live in.
I think to me, it's more annoying when I don't care if like Anfield Index does it or like some of these other channels do it and stuff like that. But because they are, you know, some of them, I mean, they're not on like us, you know, we're more volunteer based and stuff like that. So it's not like, you know, and I kind of have made it my mission not to sell out. And I feel like, you know, that's what gets to me is when institutions or companies, whatever you want to call them, like the Echo, and stuff like that, kind of like trying to be above that. I know they're competing against it, and I know they have people to pay who work for the newspaper and stuff like that, but I expect those people to be a bit more above it. Like this morning, there is sporting news, right? Because before we come here, we kind of like trying to see like what the headlines are. The headline is why Liverpool paid a huge amount to Jurgen Klopp for Anfield exit. And you would think, you're like, what? Like, why would they? Well, yeah, they were owed bonuses, so that was paid on their way out. Like, and that's the news, but it's just like so disgusting that has to be. I mean, Echo has become, you can't even find the news anymore because everything has become like a clickbait headline. And then when you do get baited and click on it, you're like in between 16 pop-ups and 4 ads to read. Like literally, it could be a paragraph split into 5 different paragraphs, and it's not even news. It was like, oh, okay. And then I'm glad you guys made your 18 cents or 20 cents from off of me. But if they sucker another million people, that's how these people make their money. And like I say, I get that there are bills to be paid or whatever. I mean, we have YouTube ads now because there are server costs and stuff. Everything has like a cost to, run it. And I get that. But like you can do it without, I don't know, selling out. I consider that stuff selling out. Like trying to put a video and saying like, why isn't the Moore contract down? Because a lot of people, are gonna be like sheep. They're gonna be like, why isn't it done? Yeah. And then like they're gonna click on it and stuff like that. That just feels so fake to me, and that's what gets to me about like some of these videos.
Yeah, and you see on Facebook, especially, and I look and I see some of the stuff, and it's like, I'm not even going to click this because most of it's come from countries like Africa and stuff, and you read it and you can tell it's from a different country because the English isn't right. And then you see all these comments, and they're all from like Africans and just jumping on this bandwagon. Now, obviously, the Jamie Carragher thing and how much just the troll he's getting. And I don't even think he did it on purpose. But Sky are probably rubbing their hands now thinking, you're an idiot, but you're making us money. And it's just like, and people just have to watch what he's saying. But instead of actually watching the interview, they're going by what this African former player had said, and he said something, so everyone's now just on this Jamie Carragher hate bandwagon, which is fine. You know, it doesn't bother me. But all it's doing is just creating money for Sky, putting Jamie Carragher in the limelight, and no one's actually watching what he said or the context and what he said it. But again, it's just more clickbait stuff.
And I mean, I'm sure they see us as like all these international fans and stuff like that in England too, right? We're over here. I think the main difference is, and you know, and I don't want to like, you know, divide it up by like, you know, international fans, non-international fans, fans in Africa versus fans in like, you know, Asia and stuff like that. But what I do notice is, and I grew up like this, right? Like growing up in Turkey, I grew up where initially as a kid, and I'm talking like kid, I had like a team because you didn't get, you know, we're that old, Serzi, that TV was not like how it is now, where you're like, which league should I watch? You know, like you watch whatever the hell was on, and it was very rare when it was on. So, like, you know, when it was like Serie A, I loved that Juventus team back in the day where they had like, you know, Platini, Zoff, and all those guys. I mean, it was just like a team, Rossi and stuff like that. Boniek. I remember that starting 11 because I was so in love with watching that team. You know, and if they showed a game from Spain, I would root for Madrid over Barcelona and stuff like that. If they showed like a German game, I would root for Dortmund over like Bayern and stuff like that. So you kind of grow up like that. But then eventually, like, you know, I really got connected to Liverpool. And then, like I say, when I was in UK and stuff like that, got even more connected, got more of the history and stuff like that. And, you know, those were like just basically kid days where the other clubs I could not care less about anymore. I feel like when you look at some of these profiles, and I don't know if it's the FIFA age, Football Manager age, I don't know what the hell it is, but you would think, like, I can understand like a 4 or 5 year old saying like, I like Real Madrid because I like Mbappe or something, and, you know, like, but like as you get older, you would think, you know, you would kind of gear towards it. But anyway, like I feel like when you look at some of those profiles, same guy that's saying like Liverpool doesn't spend money, they should buy this guy, and has like a shopping list of freaking like $1 billion. Has also, you look at their profile, because we get a lot of like hate comments and stuff like that. You look at that guy's profile, he also is like, you know, Hala Madrid, and he likes this team, he likes that team. It's like, dude, like, I don't even know what you're doing over here now. You're not really a Liverpool fan. You're just I don't know, FIFA fan, EA Sports fan. I don't even know what it is. Is it that? Is it like the gaming thing, blah, blah, blah? Or is it their distance? They're like basically when I was 4.
Yeah. Wait, we get hate comments on this?
Are you serious? Dude,
really?
Just look at the reels on Facebook. I guess, like, you know, like we don't, like
Facebook,
YouTube comments are different. I don't think we get as much on YouTube. We don't get a lot of, some shorts will get it. So basically, when somebody doesn't agree with anything this channel says, we're stupid Yanks automatically, and we should stick to baseball. I mean, like on YouTube, especially, I would say 90% of the comments when they disagree, it's never like if I come out and say, I don't think Endo fits the system, that's why he's only getting these minutes, well, should be his role, right? They're not like, no, Endo can play number 8 and they can play this. Like that's not a case that they disagree, and they're like, somehow I'm a Yank, even though it says right underneath my name that I'm Turkish. But you know, it's like, oh, I should stick to baseball, a sport that I freaking despise, first of all. And that's the comment. But if you go on Facebook, like our reels on Facebook, oh yeah, I mean the hate comments are, oh, you should go check him out, man. I told Polish Prince the other day, I put him into depression because he went and checked some of the things that was said on the reel where he was saying something. But the way I look at it is like, there's a reel, like there are reels out there that get like, you know, like 3,000, 4,000, whatever views, right? And there's like 20, 30 hate comments. There will be 20 comments that are like, there was one where I was talking shit about Trent. It could be from any show, I guess. I can't remember from when. But so like, you know, like, and there's like a couple of people saying like, oh, so about time somebody said it, blah, blah, blah. And there's a bunch of thumbs up. The way I look at that is if people, if you agree with the reel, I don't go out of the comments and be like, I agree. But if you do not like agree with it, that's one. It's like Yelp reviews, right? Like it's a lot more like you write bad reviews. So you do get that hate stuff. But like I say, those hate people, when I go into them, like some of their profiles, I've given up. This is way back in the day. I don't even look at it anymore. It's like, whatever, I just laugh and move on. But when you go in their profile, they're always like 3-4 other clubs in there. Like they're like a PSG fan. They're like, it's like, no. So you're not actually a fan. You just I don't know. That's what I mean. Like, is it like just FIFA Ultimate Team mode that's
He
for
has
everybody?
to, because I mean, one, I think you set your target on your own back by calling it first word American.
Because I look so American, you know. So I get that.
American, yeah. So yeah, you set your target on your own back for that one. But yeah, I don't know. It's like I said,
look, I'll tell you this right now. Anan posted a TikTok, and if you're not following us on TikTok, you're missing out a lot. You're missing out on Anan, that's for sure. From the stadium, and it got a lot of traction. I'll tell you right now. It got, and he was like messing with people because that's Anan, and that's what he does, right? So I'll share the screen over here so you guys can like kind of like see it. But so and then I'll tell you basically what this thing got at the end. But
from Anfield to say what a game. 2-0 victory over Newcastle, top of the league. Arsenal continue to bottle, and it looks all but done. We're going to win the league, and nobody is going to stop us.
So that's the one he posted, and you can see the comments over here.
Change your name.
Yeah, United Scouser, change your name. United Scouser, bro. Hope you had boss time. But, you know, it's like, but these are the, and you know, like I contemplated changing our name when I came up with the name way back in the day when I started the site. It was more about, it was trying to find something that only Liverpool fans would kind of like get. Right, so that this dude who's sporting 6 clubs would not even understand what we're talking about and would not even know it's a little. So that was kind of like I was trying to find something that wasn't generic, like, you know, LFC USA or something like that. You know, I was trying to find something unique. And the thing that kills me is these people who put that comment, and I think it's partially because it's American, by the way, but still, put that comment. I've been calling Kostas Greek Scouser for the last freaking like 3 seasons. So somehow you can be a Greek and a Scouser. You just can't be an American and a Scouser.
You should have put Kazi on there.
See, when I put Kazi on there, they probably just think like, oh, he's a transplant. Like he's just a Scouser.
I think when Kazi goes on, right, the African one. the Japanese one.
Yeah, so I mean, next day, I don't care about that. I've given up on that stuff. There was a time, maybe like 3-4 years ago, like we were only a couple of years in and we were still like just starting. And I was like, man, is it time? Should we change the name before it's too late? Because people are not getting it. It was just like, I mean, if you go to our website, right on the website, it says, why are we called American Scouser? And you can click on it and kind of read the thinking behind it and what the message is. And, but we've had the name stolen, mind you. Like I've had a couple of people, like, you know, who started their channels and used their country and Scouser because they thought it was a good idea and stuff like that. But like I kind of gave up on him because I was like, you know what? I really don't care about these people. I mean, that's the thing with internet. There are certain people who are just going to hate on what you do, regardless of what you do. So if I put LFC USA, they're gonna be like, LFC is in Liverpool, not in USA or something. So you're not gonna win that battle. You just do your thing. And we have a lot of followers and listeners from the UK who get it, who don't care, who don't have an agenda. But then you always have like these couple of bozos.
I think Facebook is a different demographic. Just like, I stopped following the Facebook stuff when
John says Costas gets the pass because he's in the team, my guess. But no, like these people are basically saying, well, I mean, I'm not going to start for Liverpool anytime soon. I've been trying out. You never know, John. But I mean, the thing is, like, they're like, you don't even know. Honestly, the first couple of years, people thought we didn't know what Scouser meant. So they were like trying to explain to me in geography, like why that doesn't make sense. And I was like, you're not getting it. So I know what John is saying. I mean, he's like tongue in cheek. It's just, I don't know. Like I say, I've given up on that crap. It's just like some people are gonna be. I mean, there's like trolls everywhere, and I feel like there's a lot of, especially in like social media and stuff. Like, you know how it is. I mean, there's social media, internet, and stuff like that. You know, like people come on just there to just hate on stuff. Some people are just miserable. So all they can do is hate on stuff. Hey, I'll tell you what, John. I'll be a better defender, but I'm not. I'll defend better, but I don't know anything about us, and I can only play for 45 seconds or so at the Premier League pace. I don't know if that's going to be enough for our rotation right now, but
I need to get more minutes than Chiesa.
I mean, okay, let's take a look at that. So I was going to ask you that because you said Chiesa jokingly on Discord, but do you think, like we talked about Arsenal earlier, right? Like they have PSV, then they have Manchester United away, then they have PSV again. So I can see them, like we don't have that situation. I think we play back to back to back, right? But I can see them. Let me double check. I did say that, but no, we play Southampton in the middle. So do you think there's like two different ends of the spectrum here? But do you expect both teams to behave the same and say the Champions League one is what counts at this point, the other one is done, and rotate and hope for the best? Obviously, we have an easier go because we're at Southampton at home, so you can try out KS out there if you want. But they are going away to Manchester. How do you think these two teams like treat that game in the middle, knowing the title race the way it is right now?
I think we got full strength
Against Southampton, you think?
Yeah.
Really?
Because we can potentially go 14 points clear. I think we go full strength. That little period where everyone thought, we fell off this thing where we drew with Everton and Villa and everyone thought our season had ended. I think it showed the slot just how stupid the media narrative is and how stupid fan bases are. I think just wants to get this done. Similar to how we started the Champions League and we're saying you've got to rest players, but he went full strength against everyone, and we bought ourselves that little cushion where we could.
But you have the cushion now, though. Don't you just want to lean back with the cushion a little bit, relax a little bit? I know that's not your style,
but it's 3 points, and we still, technically, unless it's mathematically impossible,
there's
still a glimmer of hope. But I'm just,
Oh, like you're talking about opening the door. I mean, I don't know. You get a tough results, or like, let's say you get a draw or something like that, or one behind to PSG away. I really do think you roll the dice a little bit. I mean, here's the thing. I don't think when I say roll the dice, you don't just put the kids out there and do like a club where it's like a totally different starting 11. But I can see him like rotating 4 or 5 guys, maybe throwing Case out there or throwing Nunez out there and stuff like that, and saving those other guys for the Tuesday game, because then it goes Wednesday to Saturday to Tuesday. And then, like maybe you put Jones out there, or like John is saying, like Ando out there, because you're like, you know what, this should be enough. And if it is not enough, why don't you guys come on in and finish the job against Southampton, kind of a deal? Or you're still playing it safe till, I mean, I'm probably asking the wrong guy on this, but
me personally, I agree. I'm probably like with 95% of Liverpool fans out there, but Slot has shown that he won't. I don't think we see Chiesa again unless we beat PSG like 5-0, next week or whatever. I don't think Chiesa plays again until this league is done and dusted.
Oh, like the last couple of weeks of the season.
Yeah.
Does that mean we're giving up on this Chiesa experiment? He's not in the Italian squad.
He's a new Ben Davies. I think he was just thrown on to Slot. It's like, look, our fans are on our back. Just take him.
See, I don't know, man. I feel like, John is not. I am a little bit. I mean, I'm not like, holy cow. It's not Real where I'd be a lot more worried. Honestly, I'm worried less. Angie was actually asking me like who PSG still has, and I was like, I'm worried a bit less because of Slot, and I think we will be a bit more defensively sound and not push so, because it's a team that can really hurt you on the counter and they have speed and stuff like that. I mean, I'm sure Robertson is already having like nightmares of like Hakimi running at him full speed and stuff like that. So like they have some speed, they can really counter, and if they have space, they have people who can hurt you. I'm less worried, because in Slot's system, we're a bit more defensively sound and we will not leave ourselves that outnumbered. we're going to play it a bit safer. And they're not as good defensively because they don't face a lot of teams that are as good as us attacking wise. So it's and that we always talk about this. It's the Farmers League. So it's always like a gear up for them when they play a different team. Sometimes you can make that gear because you've been resting it. Sometimes you can't because you're like, holy cow, these guys play fast, kind of a deal.
I'm not worried because when you compare us to obviously PSG and teams like Arsenal and stuff, we've won the Champions League and we've gone to like 4 finals. And you look at the players there, like if you look at the players and you look at Salah and Virgil and Robinson and Emerson, you think they've won nothing. Just their what's the word? Humbleness, for want of a better word. I know it's been like the trend word this whole season, but they just get on with the game. Like you look at them and you don't think that, you know, it's like that billionaire who drives a Ford Fiesta around. He wouldn't think he's a billionaire, and this is like we just get on with things, and you know, we don't play the occasion. We haven't played the occasion for so long. We just take each game as, and that's why I'm not. Also, I worry because I want us to win, but I'm not worried. Like, you know, if this is Arsenal, they'll try and play the occasion, and then the occasion gets the better of them, and then end up going out. So, and I think that will happen with PSG. You know, obviously PSG want to win it. They've spent all that money and they can't win the Champions League, and I don't think they will win the Champions League. But no, I'm not intimidated by them. I'm just it could have been PSG, it could be Monaco, it could be Brest or whoever. I would still have that.
Would you rather have PSG or Benfica, for example?
I would rather have Benfica.
Yeah, that's what I was at, I think. That's why PSG teams, like, I would have rather have Benfica. I don't know, because of our history against Portuguese teams or them, especially like
Nunes will probably end up scoring if I actually get a hat.
Or I guess, we can like unleash Nunez back on him. Yeah, I don't know. The whole Chiesa thing, I really, okay. I think, especially if he can't fix the defensive work rate kind of a deal, that seems to be the issue, right? He can't give you the defensive work rates and that running and stuff like that. We're assuming the couple of times we've seen him, you can kind of tell, you know, he needs more like game time. But I mean, it's been months. Like, I can understand if somebody's like, he didn't have a proper summer and stuff. Jesus, it's already almost summer again. So, I mean, you would think he'd be ready by now. It's like, do you even come to practice? Like, go to class. So I really thought he would get more minutes by now because, I mean, honestly, and we've talked about this when he was playing a little bit, right? I thought, and I know we've been talking with Bickler and stuff like that, he was the closest thing we have in the squad to Szoboszlai in terms of physicality, running, creativity, going forward, driving the ball and stuff like that. And we have not gotten the. John says it's more Kabak. Good old Ozan Kabak. Ozan Kabak is injured, man. That kid has been unlucky. I'll tell you what, because I think he got injured. I want to say right before the Euros, in a friendly game. Otherwise, I really think he was gonna get like a contract, go somewhere else. I think he's like in Germany somewhere. Good old Ben
wanted us
Davies.
to sign him, actually.
What?
I think I wanted us to sign him. I think the clause was like £8 million, wasn't it? At the
Yeah,
time?
it was like next to nothing at the time, and it seemed like a no-brainer. I don't know if they saw something that they didn't like.
Because I know we were getting Ibu, but still 8 million, and he wouldn't mind sitting on the bench. It would just be another Costas.
And he's Gomez like, I don't know if that's what the problem was. He's Gomez like in the sense that he can play center back and right back, but not left back. So I don't know if they were like, we already have a lot better version of him and stuff. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing though. He was thrown into the Premier League. I'm not defending him because he's Turkish, but he was thrown into the Premier League, I think, and maybe he's not good enough for the Premier League. I mean, that could very well be. He was more like really good on the ball. Like I said, I compare him a lot to Gomez, like because he can also play right back and stuff like that. He was very comfortable with the ball. I honestly think he would do better in slot system where we do want center backs who are very comfortable with the ball and like building play and stuff like that than Klopp system and stuff like that. But that ship has sailed, and honestly, maybe they did see these injury issues because he's been injured all the time ever since. I mean, the one before the Euros was unlucky, and he tore something. Like, he's still been out since the Euros and stuff like that. But I mean, in some ways, I would like us to do more of those experiments, not like Turkish experiments. I mean, in terms of like, getting. I mean, hey, right back, I'm still here. But I mean, 45-second shifts. If it was like hockey, man, I would kill it. But it's just like coming as a line and like just go, I'm done. Like, tag me out. But like more, I guess, like Minamino type buys, where we maybe roll the dice. And I think maybe we will do it this summer, or you get some guys who fit the system, but not necessarily. You can create like a YouTube welcome to Liverpool crappy video highlight reel.
I think that's Chiesa. I think he might be good in the summer.
But we know what he can do. We've seen what he can do,
and that's what I'm saying. I think we could probably get 20 million from or 25 million from Eddie Howe,
and sell him back to Italy. They're like,
give us Isaac. You can have Chiesa, and we've thrown Kelleher as well. Just need a keeper.
I did ask on the panel. I did ask Sully, because he's a Newcastle guy. I did ask him about giving Nunez and Kelleher and getting Isak in return. He wasn't having any part of it. So
I saw that.
It's gonna be a tough sell. I think any Premier League team, Nunez is going to be a tough sell. So I hope though that I kind of like what he did when he came in. By the way, in the last game. It was more Nunez, not like very impactful for like goal assist or anything like that, but the energy level was there and everything like that again. Because I mean, honestly, especially we assume he's going to be sold. You do kind of want him to have a stronger end to the season and at least show his strengths and stuff. So somebody says he can't score, but hey, he runs, kind of a thing, as like some fans were saying.
A Premier League winner.
Why does
I maybe a Champions League winner?
I guess that's another thing, right? He's like, he helped them win the league.
Yeah.
Why does he get away with so much with fans, and then Diaz gets so much shit is beyond me, by the way. Because I feel like whenever you look at Diaz, man, that guy has a drive. And honestly, he is dirt cheap. I know, like, I think it was like 55,000 a week or something like that, which is kind of like a ridiculously low rate. I would think that's why he would want like a new contract or go somewhere else and stuff like that. But his work rate has been like immense. But yeah, I do hope like, we do get some decent performances out of Nunez before the end of the season. I don't think the Saudis care though, do they? If he's going to go to Saudi.
I think he's got to Saudi. I think he would have been there in January if Liverpool signed it off. I really do think we get Isaac. And it's funny because for all the money in the world that Newcastle have, they're still a selling club. With the richest club in the world that we still have to sell.
And he would probably kill over there, I would think. I mean, he's not a horrible player or anything like that. I just don't think he is one. He doesn't have the intelligence, and I don't mean it like a jerk way, but like overall.
No, he really doesn't.
There are some players who are freaking great, but they just don't have the, can't read the game, and like that's why his pressing is really shit. Like he runs, but his angles and stuff are like really crap. And yeah, maybe this league is just not for him. Or honestly, like I feel like if Diaz played for like West Ham or something, he'd be a pain in our butts as he was in Benfica on the counter. We'd be like, God damn it, this guy is so fast, blah, blah, blah. Like we'd be worried anytime he got the ball and he started running. But against defenses that we play against, where there's like a lot more low blocks and stuff like that, he just can't find that space. The thing with Diaz is, I think he's so South American, man. That's the only thing I can say about the dude. Sometimes he has the first touch of like Lukaku, where the ball bounces like freaking like 15 yards. You're like, dude, it was like a pass on the ground. And then sometimes like, like Trent will whip that ball like a diagonal and he brings it down on the dime. Like, I'm like, like he's like Ronaldinho or some shit. And I'm like, how are you the same guy who just couldn't control the ball?
I blame the ball. It depends what ball we play with.
If it's Arteta's ball.
Yeah.
These cup balls suck, damn it. Yeah, it's Arteta.
With Nunez, it's like I just want to put a Bluetooth chip inside his brain and like have a control like linked to a PlayStation controller and just
It's
like
gonna be like 404 error not found.
yeah,
Cannot connect.
because he's got all the attributes in the world, and it's just like I don't know. It's just, but the Premier League's unforgiving. You know, you look at Shevchenko, who was one of the best strikers in the world at that time, couldn't make it. You know, you look at Drogba. Everyone thinks Drogba was this big, you know, legendary of a striker. He only got over 20 goals once in 10 years. So, you know, it's Premier League is unforgiving, but it's just being Liverpool fans. We've seen the best strikers, you know, between Rush, Aldridge, Torres, Sturridge, you know, Suarez, and then obviously Mane and Salah did what they did. So Nunes, he has a high bar to try and reach, and unfortunately, it's just hasn't gone through.
Why is that, by the way? Now that you mentioned that, you know, I talk about this my Rush experience, like where he was just going to show up on the screen and like tap the. You don't get a lot of poacher goals anymore. You know what I mean? Like as old as we are, and we know the old. Like are the goalies better? Like there was like poacher goals. Like whenever like the ball bounced from the goalie, that dude would be there. Like the poacher would be there to tap it in and stuff, like a Rush, like an Aldridge and stuff like that. Like you go and watch the games from the weekend. Like the NBC Sports always puts the reel of like goals, all the goals from the weekend and stuff. There's maybe like one where there's like a tap in from like a goalie coming in. So are the goalies better? Are there? I mean, we score some FIFA like goals where he just taps it in, like crosses it in. Like Mo scores a bunch of those sometimes, but like you don't see those poacher goals where you would see a guy that scores ridiculous goals, and then you would see the goals he scores. You're like, well, I can score that, but you had to be there, right? That was the poacher's thing. I feel like you don't see that as much as you used to in the game.
I think that type of striker isn't available anymore, and I think you'll cycle around to that again. I think you got Haaland, obviously, Jota is another like old school kind of forward, and I think everyone tries to emulate what the champions do. So when Man City were winning, then everyone was, oh, well, we got to buy a keeper that can play from the back. You know, and we did it ourselves. We bought Alisson. And then everyone else started doing it, and Arsenal, then Man United go and buy Onana. And it's like, this experiment doesn't work because you can't save it. Then, you know, Haaland comes along and then starts scoring for fun. And it's like, wait, so then Man United, well, let's buy the teamy version of Haaland and get Højlund. And it's not working. And them out and out strikers just aren't there. But I think it'll cycle around again where we're going to find another striker who's like another Rush, and then it's like, oh wow, you know, we've broken the mold and we've got this forward that can score. But I think everyone's just trying to be like what Liverpool did and have this wingers that can score, that can come in from the right or the left, and you just got to have the skill set to do and find the players that can do it. But I think it'll cycle around again to that.
I mean, John says Darwin could get those poacher goals if I mean, he'd be offside in half of them, right? When the ball comes, he was offside when like the shot was taken or something. I think with Darwin, I think some of it is just overthinking. And people say, I mean, we've said that before, confidence and stuff like that. I just think it's just like a long. I think he really thinks at this point that he's not good enough for the Premier League and stuff. Like this is not his level or something. Like he's doubting himself. You know, like sometimes like the ball will be coming towards you. You're getting ready for a shot. Out of the corner of your eye, you're like, oh man, well, I can like one time pass this. And then, you know, so like you're literally thinking two things at the same time within a split second. And then what you do will be just shit. Like it won't be a shot. It won't be a pass. It'll be like right in between. I just feel like that's what Nunez is at all times. Like, do I make that run or should I just stay over here and like, you know, like keep the center back and stuff? And it's just like, he doesn't do anything. He just runs towards the ball. He's not even like finding an angle. It's just like some of those weird things that he does. I feel like, you know, either overthinking it or thinking too many things at the same time, not thinking at all. I don't know where he's at with that, but I know overall, like I say, that City game has proven it that we don't trust them in terms of playing in a system, playing in a certain tactic. We just don't trust it. I think he has one role, maybe like you can say similar to Endo, right? We don't trust Endo in building play because we know he's not good with his back to the, you know, back to the other side. Like he can't receive the ball and like with a player on his back, but he can come in and do a job. I think Darwin is in that role now. Maybe we haven't had those kinds of games yet where we put Darwin up there and say maybe Southampton. There you go.
Yeah, I can see him playing against Southampton. I think the best thing for Nunes was Slot coming out in public. And it's not like Slot came out in public. He was asked a question, and Slot, in what we now know how he is, he just answers questions honestly, and he doesn't mince his words. He doesn't throw anyone under the bus. He just says what he thinks, and I think that's the best thing that could happen for Nunes for the rest of the season. And then I think going away from the Premier League will probably be the best thing for his career. It's like Forlan. You know, he went to Man United, stunk it up, same as Crespo did at Chelsea. Didn't really do well. Then you leave the league, and then bang, you're scoring for AC Milan or you're scoring for Atletico Madrid. And I think Nunes will do the same because he's got the talent. But the Premier is just such an unforgiving league, and if you fail, that's it. You can't. It's hard to recover.
As long as he kind of does what he did this last game, he's an easy guy to root for.
Yeah, he just needs to work. That's not so said. Look, just work.
Yeah,
and it's like Trent. Like Trent's like, well, I can't defend. All right, well, if you can't defend, set up an attack, but do something. Just don't sit there and do nothing.
Otherwise, I'm ready to come off the bench, coach, as the right back of the future over here. Since my original position as sweeper is obsolete now, I'm gonna have to reinvent myself. So this weekend, not much going on. Like I say, on Sunday, what's the plans? Because I'm taking probably Saturday off of sports, and that Sunday Fenerbahce plays, but I won't watch any FA Cup or anything like that. But what does Serzi do when there's no sports like this on a weekend?
Well, this weekend's cool. My nephew and sister are here from Dubai, so I've got to entertain them.
How does Sergi entertain people? I guess is the follow-up question. What is you entertaining them?
I don't know. I'm lost.
TikTok dances. What are you doing
this weekend? It's like everyone just kind of assumes that Saturday and Sundays I'm out because Liverpool. So now I'm gonna. Damn it! I couldn't support another team. No, it's I don't know. After this, I've got to take my nephew to the park because he wants to go to the park. And then Ramadan starts, so that I can kind of be lazy and get away with it.
Oh, nice. I'm fasting, damn it. Okay, I got it. Okay, I got it. Ulterior motives. You're like, honey, I would.
Yeah, so
weak.
Because my mom lives with us. So and I'll get her sympathy votes. So leave me.
Is the wifey fasting?
No.
Okay, so that's perfect for you. You can be like, I mean, you're eating all day. You have the energy. I'm so weak over here. Yeah, I got it. That's nice strategy you got. But
so I'm gonna try and milk that as much as I can until people find out. Like, just being.
I think I've made it very well known. I'm not religious. Angie's not gonna buy that shit. If I'm like, hey, honey, I'm fasting. That's not gonna fly. But no sports overall. Like I say, Sunday has some interesting games with the FA Cup, but good time to have a weekend off. Like, I'm just glad this is the weekend off after. We're all in a good mood and a positive mood, positive outlook, as opposed to after the Villa game where, you're biting your nails all weekend, waiting for the next fixture kind of a thing. So it's been a perfect timing for the break. But that's it for us today. We'll be back. When will we be back? We'll be back Monday morning. With the Polish Prince. I'll be back in the morning show. So we'll see you guys then. Have a great weekend, everybody. And take the weekend off. Take the weekend off of Liverpool.
Go find some contract news.
Yeah, go find some contract. Yeah, chase the contract news. Chase the clickbait. Probably producing from American Scousers over here. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys on Monday. Take care.